our global audience. Welcome to a special deep dive edition of our tennis coverage. We are standing on the precipice of history today. The air is thick with anticipation. The courts of Melbourne Park are buzzing with that distinct, electric energy that only the first Grand Slam of the year can provide. And we are hours away from Showdown that carries the weight of a nation on one side and the hopes of career resurgence on the other. Today, we are not just talking about a tennis match. We are talking about a collision of trajectories. We are talking about the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object. We are talking about the Australian Open 2026, first round. On one side of the net, we have the phenomenon, the history maker, the young woman who has single-handedly rewritten the record books for Southeast Asian tennis. She is the pride of the Philippines, the relentless southpaw who has stormed into the WTA Top 50 with a breakout season that left the tennis world stunned. She is Eala, and she is making her long-awaited, highly anticipated main draw debut right here in Melbourne. On the other side, we have the enigma, the American powerhouse, a player who possesses one of the most feared weapons in the women's game, a serve that can shatter speed records. She is a former top 40 player, a WTA title holder who has beaten the likes of Caroline Garcia on home soil. She is Alicia Parks, and she is looking to spoil the party and remind the world why she is one of the most dangerous unseeded floaters in the draw. This is a matchup of fire and ice. It is the tactical brilliance and gritty consistency of Eala against explosive high-risk, high-reward power of Parks. It is the lefty spin against the thunderous flat serve. It is a battle of nerves, a battle of styles, and ultimately, a battle for respect on the sport's biggest stage. For 3 years, Eala knocked on the door of the Australian Open. For 3 years, she fought through the brutal qualifying rounds, experiencing the heartbreak of early exits, the sting of being so close yet so far. But those days are gone. The Eala we see today is not the hopeful teenager of 2023 or 2024. This is Eala, the world number 49. This is a woman who stood toe-to-toe with IGA Swiatek in Miami. This is a woman who broke the Grand Slam glass ceiling at the U.S. Open last year. She arrives in Melbourne not just happy to be here, but expecting to win. But let us not underestimate Alicia Parks. The American is ranked number 100, but do not let that number fool you. When her game clicks, she is virtually unplayable. She hits the ball with a velocity that can take the racket out of your hand. She has the experience of deep runs. She has the memory of lifting trophies. She knows that all it takes is 1 week, one match, one rhythm to find her way back to the top. She sees Eala not as a rising star, but as an obstacle to be blasted off the court. The stakes could not be higher. For Eala, a win here cements her status as a legitimate main tour force and sets up a potential blockbuster second-round clash. It validates the years of sacrifice at the Rafa Nadal Academy. It sends a signal to Manila and the millions of Filipino fans watching at ungodly hours that their golden girl has arrived. For Parks, a win is redemption. It is a statement that she belongs in the elite conversation, that her power is still a force to be reckoned with. Over the next hour, we are going to dissect every single angle of this match. We are going to look at the serve speeds, the return stats, the court surface geometry, and the mental warfare. We will explore how Eala's recent semifinal run in Auckland has primed her for this moment. We will analyze how Parks' recent struggles in Hobart might actually make her more dangerous, play with the freedom of having nothing to lose. We will take you inside the mind of a 20-year-old making her debut and a 25-year-old fighting for her ranking. We will discuss the weather conditions in Melbourne, the heat, the wind, and who that favors. We will look at the coaching strategies. What is Joan Bosch telling Eala right now? What is the Parks camp plotting to neutralize that lefty forehand? This is not just a preview. This is a definitive breakdown of Eala versus Alicia Parks. The narrative is set. The players are ready. The Philippines is watching. The United States is watching. The world is watching. So sit back, settle in, and let's get into the absolute thick of it. This is the Australian Open. This is a big time. And it starts right now. Think about the journey that has brought us to this specific Sunday in Melbourne. It wasn't a straight line for either player. For Eala, it was a grind, a methodical Relentless climb up a mountain that many said was too steep for a player of her physical stature coming from a country with limited tennis infrastructure. We watched her dominate the juniors, winning 2 Grand Slam doubles titles and the U.S. Open junior singles title. But the transition to pros? That is the graveyard of prodigies. That is where the next big things often fade into obscurity. But Eala didn't fade. She accelerated. 2025 was a year everything changed. The year she stopped being the junior champion and became the contender, breaking the top 100 in March, beating Madison Keys, beating Yelena Ostapenko, pushing Jessica Pegula. These aren't just wins. They are badges of honor. They are proof of concept. And then the U.S. Open main draw win against Clara Tauson, the moment the dam broke. Now, she walks onto the blue hard courts of Melbourne Park, not as a qualifier, hoping for a lucky loser spot, but as a direct entrant, a top 50 player. That ranking, number 49, carries weight. It means respect in the locker room. It means better practice courts. It means the belief that she belongs. But tennis is a cruel sport. It doesn't care about your narrative. It doesn't care about your ranking points from last year. It cares about today. And today, standing across the net, is a player who can take the racket out of your hands before you even settle into a rhythm. Alicia Parks is the wild card factor here. If you have never seen Alicia Parks play live, it is a visceral experience. The sound the ball makes off her racket is different. It's a crack, not a thud. She stands 6'1", towering over Eala. Her serve is a weapon of mass destruction in the tennis world. We are talking about a player who tied Venus Williams for the fastest serve ever recorded at the U.S. Open, 129 miles per hour. That is not just fast. That is blink and you miss it fast. Parks is coming into this match with a point to prove. After reaching a career high of number 40 in 2023, she has slipped. She has battled inconsistency. She has battled the double fault demons that plague so many big servers. She is currently sitting at number 100, right on the bubble. A loss here sends her tumbling further down. A win here could be the spark that reignites her career. She is cornered, and a cornered power hitter is the most dangerous opponent you can face. This is the classic contrast of styles that makes tennis so beautiful. It is the bull versus the matador. Parks is the bull, charging, powerful, overwhelming. Eala is the matador, nimble, precise, using her opponent's pace against them, looking for the angle, the opening, the fatal strike. Eala is a southpaw, a lefty. In tennis, that is gold. The lefty spin, particularly on the serve out wide in the ad court, is a nightmare for right-handers. It pulls them off the court, opening up the entire expanse of the other side. Parks is a two-handed backhand, which is generally solid, but how will she handle the heavy topspin of Eala's forehand kicking up above her shoulder? On the flip side, how will Eala, who stands 5'9", handle the sheer weight of shot coming from Parks? Eala has improved her physicality immensely. We saw that in her recent exhibition win over Donna Vekic at Kyong, but Parks hits a heavier ball than almost anyone Eala faces regularly. If Parks is landing her first serves, Eala might not even get to play tennis. She might be watching aces fly by. The key for Eala will be the return of serve. Can she neutralize that weapon? Can she get the ball back and play deep enough to force a rally? Because if this match becomes a rally contest, if it becomes a game of chess and movement, the advantage swings heavily to the Filipina. We also have to talk about the preparation. Eala has been in Oceania for weeks. She played the ASB Classic in Auckland, and she didn't just play, she thrived. A semifinal run. She beat Magda Linette. She pushed Wong Sinyu. She is acclimatized. She is match tough. She has the court sense dialed in. Parks? She played the Hobart International qualifiers and lost in the second round to Ayano Shimizu. She hasn't had the deep match play this month. She might be a bit rusty. Or she might be fresh. That is the unknown. And let's not forget the atmosphere. Melbourne Park is unique. The courts can play fast, especially when it's hot. The forecast is looking warm. Fast courts generally favor the big server. That's a point for Parks. But the heat? The heat favors a fitter player, the grinder, the one who can endure long rallies without fading. That is a point for Eala. This intro is just scratching the surface. We have so much more to unpack. We need to talk about the mental side. Eala is 20, making her debut. Will she be nervous? Will the weight of expectation from the Philippines crush her, or will it lift her up? She has handled pressure remarkably well in her young career, winning the SEA Games gold, leading the Billie Jean King Cup team. But Grand Slam main draw is a different beast. Parks has been here before. She reached the third round of the Australian Open in 2024. She knows the courts. She knows the locker room. She has been there, done that experience. But she also has the pressure of defending points and stopping her ranking slide. Who handles the moment better? In the next segment, we are going deep. We're going to look at the bios, the stats, the technical breakdown of their strokes. We will examine the lefty advantage in detail. We will discuss what a win would mean for the Philippine sports landscape, which is currently undergoing a golden era. Stay tuned, because we are just getting started. This is the analysis you won't get anywhere else. This is the story of two players at a crossroads, meeting under the Melbourne sun. This is Eala versus Parks, and it's coming up next. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are dissecting the upcoming Australian Open first-round clash between the Philippines' Eala and the USA's Alicia Parks. We've set the stage. Now let's peel back the curtain and look at the machinery of this matchup. Segment 1, the meteoric rise of Eala. To truly understand the magnitude of this match, we have to contextualize Eala's last 12 months. It is not an exaggeration to say she has had one of the most transformative years for a young player outside the immediate top 10. Let's rewind to January 2025. Eala was ranked outside the top 100. She was stuck in that difficult transition zone, too good for the ITFs, but struggling to break through in the WDA main draws. She lost in the qualifiers of the Australian Open last year to Janafet. It was a tough loss, but what happened next was a masterclass in resilience and development. Her performance at the Miami Open in March 2025 was the turning point. As a wild card, she didn't just show up, she arrived. Defeating a Grand Slam champion in Yelena Ostapenko is one thing. Backing it up by beating Madison Keys, a finalist at the U.S. Open, is another. But the way she played was what caught everyone's eye. It wasn't just defensive grinding. Eala was dictating points. She was stepping into the court. Her forehand, which has always been her weapon, had added pop. She was serving with more precision. Reaching the semifinals of a WTA 1000 event as a wild card is rare air. It signaled that she had the level. Then came the grind. She didn't rest on her laurels. She went to the clay. She went to the grass. There were setbacks, sure. First-round exits at the French Open and Wimbledon. But those were learning experiences. She was absorbing the pace, the atmosphere, the routine of the main tour. By the time the U.S. Open rolled around, she was ready. Beating Clara Tauson gave her that elusive first Grand Slam main draw win. It broke the mental barrier. It proved she could win over 3 sets on the biggest stage in tennis. Fast forward to the start of the 2026 season. The decision to play in Auckland was strategic. It's a similar surface to Melbourne. Her run to the semifinals there was clinical. Beating Magda Linette, a seasoned veteran and former Australian Open semifinalist herself, in straight sets was a massive statement. It showed that Eala isn't just beating players she should beat. She is beating players who are supposed to beat her. Technically, Eala's game has evolved. She has always been a smart player, a trait honed at the Rafa Nadal Academy. But now, she is a physical player. Her movement is sharper. Her defense has turned into offense. She transitions from the baseline to the net with more confidence now, likely a result of her double success. And let's talk about that serve. It's not the fastest on tour, but her placement has improved drastically. She is hitting her spots, using the slider out wide open the court, which sets up her forehand perfectly. Segment 2, the enigma of Alicia Parks. Now let's pivot to Alicia Parks. If Eala is the model of steady progression, Parks is the definition of volatility. And I mean that with the utmost respect for her ceiling. When Alicia Parks plays her best tennis, she looks like a top 10 player. She bursts onto the scene with that massive serve. Tying Venus Williams' record of 129 miles per hour is a stat that stays with you. It defines you. It makes opponents nervous before the coin toss. When you play Parks, you know you might not touch the ball on her service games. That creates immense pressure on your own serve. You feel like you cannot afford a single slip-up because you might not get a chance to break her. Her 2023 season was her peak so far. Winning the title in line indoors was a showcase of her potential. She beat Caroline Garcia in the final. In France, that takes guts. It takes immense mental fortitude to beat a top player in front of their home crowd. She also won the Cincinnati doubles title with Coco Gauff, proving she has the hands and the volleying skills to complement her power. However, the last 18 months have been a struggle. She has slid from number 40 to number 100. Why? Consistency. Parks plays a high-risk game. She hits flat and hard. When the timing is off, the errors pile up. She can hit 40 winners in a match, but if she hits 50 unforced errors, she loses. Her second serve can also be a liability. She is prone to double faults when the pressure mounts. Her recent form is concerning. Losing in the qualifiers of Hobart suggests she hasn't quite found her rhythm yet in 2026. But, and this is a big but, Parks is a player who thrives on fast surfaces. The Australian Open hard courts are quicker than the clay or the slow hard courts of Indian Wells. If she finds her range, if she starts landing that first serve at 70%, she can take the racket out of Eala's hands. She doesn't need to rally. She needs to serve and strike. 1-2 punch tennis. Segment 3, the tactical breakdown. Lefty guile versus righty power. This match will be decided in the first 4 shots of the rally. The serve versus return battle. This is the most critical dynamic. Parks will look to bomb free points. Eala's return of serve will be the single most important shot of the match. Eala stands relatively close to baseline. Against Parks, she might need to adjust. Does she step back to give herself more time to react to the 120-plus mph serves? Or does she stand her ground and try to block it back, using Parks' pace against her? Eala needs to make Parks play. She needs to get the return in play, deep down the middle, just to neutralize the point. If she can extend the rally past the 4th shot, her chances of winning the point skyrocket. Parks wants short points. Eala wants extended rallies. The ad-court dynamic. Eala is left-handed. This is a massive advantage on the ad side, the left side of the court. She can slice her serve out wide, pulling Parks off the court to her backhand side. This opens up the entire deuce court for Eala's next shot. Parks has a two-handed backhand that is solid, but if she is stretched wide, she might struggle to generate the power she likes. Conversely, Parks will target Eala's backhand. Eala's backhand is stable, but her forehand is the weapon. Parks will try to pin Eala in the backhand corner with heavy, flat drives to prevent Eala from running around and hitting inside-out forehands. Movement and defense. Eala is a superior mover. She is lighter on her feet, changes direction better, and anticipates well. Parks is athletic, but her movement can sometimes be a bit linear. If Eala can use the geometry of the court, short angles, drop shots, changing the height of the ball, she can frustrate Parks. Parks hates a junk ball. She likes a consistent rhythm. If Eala gives her pace, Parks loves it. If Eala throws in a high, looping topspin ball, then a low slice, then a hard flat shot, it disrupts Parks' timing. Expect Eala to use variety. She needs to be the chaotic element in terms of spin and height, while Parks tries to be the linear force. The mental war. This is Eala's main draw debut. The nerves will be there, but she has played on big courts before: Miami, U.S. Open. She has a team that knows how to prepare her. Parks is fighting for her ranking survival. The pressure on her is different. It's the pressure of expectation versus the pressure of opportunity. Eala has the opportunity. Parks has the expectation to defend her status. If Eala gets an early break, Parks could unravel. We have seen Parks get frustrated, engaging with her box, losing focus. Eala is usually stone-cold focused. Her composure is one of her greatest assets. Segment 4, the Filipino context, more than just a match. We cannot analyze this match without acknowledging what Eala represents. In the Philippines, basketball is religion boxing is heritage, but tennis is rising, and it is rising because of her. Every time she steps on the court, millions of Filipinos are tracking the score. She is the first to win a junior slam singles title, the first to break the top 50, the first to win a main draw slam match. She is carrying the torch that was lit by legends like Felix Barrientos or Cecil Mamiet, but she is carrying it further and brighter. This Australian Open debut is symbolic. The Australian Open is often called the Grand Slam of Asia-Pacific. It is the closest major to the Philippines. There will be Filipinos in the crowd at Melbourne Park. The Pinoy power support is legendary. You will hear them. You will see the flags. That support can be a double-edged sword. It can add pressure. But Eala has shown she thrives on it. She uses it as fuel. For the Philippine sports community, an Eala run at the AO would be monumental. It inspires the next generation. It shows the young kids in Manila, Cebu, and Davao that there's a pathway to the global stage. It validates the investment in sports. And let's not forget the timing. Philippine sports is having a moment. From Olympic gold medals in gymnastics and weightlifting to Eala's rise, she is part of a golden generation of Filipino athletes. She knows this. She speaks about it with pride. She wants to contribute to that legacy. Segment 5, the X Factors. What are the variables we haven't discussed? 1. The wind. Melbourne Park can be windy. Wind is the great equalizer. It messes with the ball toss. It makes timing difficult. High-power players like Parks often struggle more in the wind because their margins are so small. A flat hitter needs perfection. A top-spin player like Eala has more margin for error. If it's a blustery day, advantage Eala. 2. The exhibition match. Eala just beat Donna Vekic at Kuyong. Vekic is a top-tier player. Yes, it was an exhibition, but wins breed confidence. Eala feels good about her game right now. Parks is coming off a loss. That momentum disparity matters. 3. The draw. The winner of this match faces either Carolina Muchova or Jacqueline Christian. Muchova is a semi-finalist caliber player, but is often injury-prone. The path forward is tough, but not impossible. This adds incentive. It's not like the winner immediately faces IGA Swiatek. There's a winnable second round on the table. So, how does this play out? If Parks serves 15 aces and paints the lines, she wins. It's that simple. There are days when a player like Parks is unbeatable. But tennis is rarely about the best-case scenario. It's about the average level. And right now, Eala's average level is higher than Alicia Parks. Eala's B game is solid enough to beat Parks' B game. Parks needs her A game to dominate. Eala just needs to be solid, smart, and resilient. I expect Eala to target the Parks forehand return. I expect her to use the body serve to jam Parks. I expect her to try and move Parks forward. Parks is less comfortable at the net unless she is finishing a point on her own terms. If Eala can bring her in with drop shots, she can expose Parks' movement. This is a match of patience versus panic. Eala has the patience. Will Parks panic if the winners don't flow early? We are looking at a potential three-setter here. It feels like a match that will have momentum swings. Parks might blast through a set 6-2. Eala might grind one out 6-4. It will come down to the big points. Break point conversion rate will be the stat to watch. Eala has been clinical lately on break points. She needs to keep that up. This is a deep dive. We have covered the history, the technique, the psychology, and the national pride. The stage is set for a classic encounter. And so, we arrive at the final verdict. The analysis is complete, the stats have been crunched, and the narratives have been woven. What remains is the match itself. This Sunday, when Eala walks onto that court at Melbourne Park, she carries more than just a racket bag. She carries the momentum of a breakout season. She carries the tactical evolution of a player who has transformed from a promising junior into a legitimate WTA force. She carries the flag of a nation that is hungry for global sporting success. She faces Alicia Parks, a woman with a cannon for an arm and a point to prove, a player dangerous enough to beat anyone in the world on her day, but vulnerable enough to lose if her rhythm is disrupted. My prediction? I am going with the form player. I am going with consistency. I am going with the rising tide. I believe Eala will win this match. It won't be easy. She will have to weather the storm. She will have to watch aces fly past her and not get discouraged. She will have to handle the heavy pace and the aggressive returning of the American. But Eala has shown us, time and time again over the last year, that she has the mental fortitude for these moments. She solves problems on the court. She adapts. I predict a tight match, possibly going to 3 sets. I see Eala weathering an early barrage from Parks, perhaps even falling behind early, but using her superior fitness and tactical variety to break down the American's game as the match wears on. Look for Eala to exploit the ad-court serve. Look for her to move Parks side to side, and look for her to stay calm in the tiebreaks. A win here would be historic. It would be her first main draw win at the Australian Open. It would likely push her ranking even higher, edging closer to that top 40 bracket. It would set up a fascinating second-round encounter. But more than that, it would be a confirmation. A confirmation that Eala is not just a visitor to big leagues. She is a resident. For Alicia Parks, a loss would be a heavy blow, but a win could be the resurrection of her season. That is the beauty of the Grand Slam. One match changes everything. To all the fans watching from the Philippines, set your alarms. Brew your coffee. This is the moment you have been waiting for. The pride of the Philippines is ready for battle. To the neutral fans, do not miss this. This is a clash of styles that promises fireworks. It is a perfect appetizer for a fortnight of tennis down under. We will be here covering every serve, every volley, and every point. We will have post-match analysis, player interviews, and a breakdown of what happens next in the draw. But for now, the talking stops. The players are warming up. The umpire is in the chair. The crowd is settling in. The Australian Open is underway, and Eala versus Alicia Parks is the headline act for us today. Thank you for joining me on this extensive deep dive. We've explored the mechanics, the mindset, and the meaning of this match. Now, let's watch history unfold. Enjoy the match, everyone. This is tennis at its finest. This is the Australian Open, and we are just getting started.